So the fidelity of a prototype is a really interesting question, I think. And it's not, I was about to say it's subjective, but I don't think it is. I think if you're too low a fidelity, people talk about paper prototyping all the time. Screw paper prototyping. It's a waste of time. Putting a paper prototype in front of somebody, they immediately know they're supposed to give you feedback. And they'll go into feedback mode. I've seen this 100 times. You put it in front of them and they're like, oh, it's really interesting that you put the button in the top right. Have you considered putting it in the bottom left? I think I would find that more obvious. That kind of feedback's useless to you. That's your job as a designer to choose where the button's gonna go. What you want is reactions from people. And to get reactions from people, you have to suspend their disbelief. And that means making something that feels real. And so we often are putting, prototypes that we made in InVision or Keynote or Flinto, whatever, in front of people. If it's on a device, if it's a mobile app, it's always on a mobile app, like a real phone that the real person uses. We wouldn't put an iOS device in front of Android users. We'll actually ask this when we're bringing in candidates, like which device to use mostly. So we make sure that, it's just this familiar device in their hand and like, oh, it's apps just like all the other apps you've installed. Like, whatever. And they start tapping around. So we raise up to that level of fidelity that it looks real. It looks like real software. It doesn't have to all work perfectly, and the person will probably bump into the edges and kind of realize it's not exactly finished software, but they feel like they're using kind of beta software. And then the wrong level of fidelity is just the fidelity that takes you too long. If you can make something look, if you already have great standards in your organization and a bunch of pattern libraries that you can just drag and drop crap into Sketch with, knock yourself out, make it look real. But don't spend more than a day or two. I think it's that time boxing just forces you to focus on the right things.